Prabhupadayate Namah Gurvagyam Shri Sridhar Shaktivesha Swarupine Hare Krishna Iti Mantrina Paschatya Prachatarne Vishvacharya Prabharaya Divya Karunya Muktaye Shubhadvata Madhurya Dityajnana Pradayine Gauri Sri Siddhanta Saraswati Nishedine Radha Krishna Vadambono Jaya Gurve Shivandana Ki Jaya. What page? What are you doing?
45.
45. Of course.
Jaya Guru Maharaj, Jati Rajeshwara.
Jaya Guru Maharaj, Jati Rajeshwara. Sri Bhakti Rakshaka Dev-Goswami Sridhar.
Atita Pavana Lila Bhundari Bhuvane.
Atita Pavana Lila Sari Bhuvane. Istari Ladina Hina All glory to you, Guru Maharaj, of sannyasi kings, the emperor. The glorious Sri Bhakti Rakshak Dev-Goswami Sridhar.
Extending in this world your pastimes, the Savior of the fallen. You delivered all the suffering souls, including the most forsaken.
Beholding your holy form of concentrated mercy, the fortunate souls fall in a swoon of divine love ecstasy.
Your lofty form, full of divine emotion, is nectar for our eyes. With divine knowledge and shining eyes, your effulgence fills the skies.
The golden sun was pleasant, and rose saffron west, adorned with tears, pulsy beads, with sound fragrant
The matchless beauty of your holy form, dazzling in its brightness, your benevolence of most noble heart, and the moon glow of love sweetness.
Inconceivable genius, affection, gravity, magnanimity, a thunderbolt crushing mundane knowledge, the reservoir bestowing divinity.
It's pretty poetic. Jodo means unconsciousness or matter. Gyan means knowledge, Giri means mountain, Vajra means thunder. Jodagyan, Giri, Vajra. Like the mountain of mundane, materialistic knowledge shattered. In the Golden Lord Sankirtan dance, she reveled ecstatically, Dao Nitai, you ever call Srila in the name.
Eternally present in Navadvita Dham, with your associates by your sweet will, you will enjoy your holy pastimes on the hidden Govardhan Hill.
You are the fit recipient of your dignity in the Gaudiya Acharya Assembly, the jewel of the Gaudiya Siddhanta, adorning your chest so nobly.
Okay, Moody, your turn.
You are the living message of Sri Guru. You are the mind of perfect conclusion. You reveal the Gayatri's inner purpose, the gem fulfilling all aspirations.
When you speak, one subject alone is revealed in ever new light. Proper adjustment and harmony, all these things are your spiritual light. Seeing you take the holy name with glossy beads in hand, awakens the
Wait a
thought.
minute, I think you got 13. Did you say that? Am I wrong? You're right. We're on 13?
All your dear God brothers declare unanimously, they see your holiness in the line of Sri Rupa Saraswati. Seeing you take the holy name with tulasi beads in hand, awakens the thought of Saraswati Thakur in everybody's mind.
Your feet flowing like 10 million moons. In your service, all faith you are place. The maker of Radha Govinda's pastimes, one day you may drink by your grace.
O personification of perfect conclusions. O personification of perfect conclusions. Inconceivably one, yet different. So one and different with those conclusions. I sing this prayer at your arti with joy, your humble servant.
Srila Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai.
Jai.
Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai.
Should we sing the Parampara?
No, later.
Oh, not on the disappearance.
So this is a very holy day. I think it's important to kind of ground ourselves and root our consciousness as we try to practice on this day. Today is called Tiro Bhava. And Bhava is a very deep word. There are many, many English translations to this word Bhava. But Tiro Bhava means disappearance pastimes. Tiro means he's not visible. So Tiro Bhav means his play of not being visible to our eyes. Avir Bhav means becoming visible to our eyes. So it's referring to a great soul. The great soul is eternally self-aware, self-conscious, and given to the Lord. But very rarely we may have an opportunity to hear from a real devotee, a devotee who is from that higher plane of Chid Vilas, conscious play, who appears in such a way that's called Acharya. Acharya means they're stopping their play for some time to put on the dress of a teacher, so that they, in their graceful mercy, can show an example to us and on a very close basis pull us from the consciousness that we're in to a higher consciousness. So Srila Sridhar Maharaj is such a person. In some of Srila Govinda Maharaj's songs he says, he put on the sannyas dress just to save, just to help the fallen souls. You know, to show himself in a position where he can be respected by us. But actually inside of himself he doesn't want any respect. And really his consciousness is living within the play of the Lord. So this is a wondrous thing where a high devotee can appear in such a way for our benefit. And Tiro Bhav is a bit of a sad day because today is the day that he left. I think he actually left in August 1988. But according to the moon calendar, this is the same moon that he left under, is today. And he was born in October of 1895. So almost 100 years old. He was almost 93 when he left. And he displayed many wonderful activities in his life. So traditionally on the Disappearance Day, we have some sadness because the great devotee, this is the time that he no longer was in that role, right? No longer showing himself to us and giving us his direct presence and his direct guidance. But at the same time, there's something called Vani and Vapu. It means the instructions in the form. And through his Vani means instructions, he's always alive. And I could say, as someone who never met him personally, but am trying under the guidance of his dearest disciple, Srila Govinda Maharaj, to study his teachings, that he is present in his Vani. And there's happiness that we can feel from our Guru Varga when we actually try to dedicate ourselves to worshiping their teachings with our actual life, with our actual destiny, with our actual fate and faith. So in the mood of disappearance, you know, we remember the great devotee. We also feel some sadness that his form is gone, but at the same time, with that sense of separation, we reach out even in a more real way internally. Sometimes when someone's present, you kind of take that for granted. And I know I did that with Srila Govinda Maharaj. You know, I'll be like, oh, I don't know, I'll get there. You know, I can't do it right now. I got a thing.
Do I even remember what that freaking thing was? No. Like, I don't have it. I didn't have a thing. But, you know, in that place where they're gone, you know, that desperation, that hankering can sometimes be even higher. So we can talk more about his teachings and his divine life later, but, you know, as we sing these songs, we're going to be singing a lot of songs in the mood of the disappearance. And, you know, that disappearance, that mood, that's a type of bhava. A type of relationship, the Tiro Bhava and the Avir Bhava. When he's present and when he's not present. Both are their own mood. And in the world of infinite consciousness, both are alive. Okay. Jai Shri Guru Maharaj Ki Jai. Yeah, Prabhu.
I was going to say that I think it's a really important thing for us to meditate on while we're singing the glories of our gurus, that this has to do with an internal transaction. I'm like working on giving my heart in sincerity to the lotus feet of my Gurudev. And, you know, so like trying to, as we sing these prayers and songs and discuss, it's good if we can think that, oh, please, my Gurudev, I'm trying to approach you. You please allow me to come closer to you. Please allow me to be engaged more and more in your service. In whatever aspect of life I'm in, day to day, hour to hour, stuff like that, let me remember what is my position as an eternal soul, an eternal servant of you. Always like try to, you know, like carry that in our hearts when we're chanting these songs, when we're chanting these prayers, to like, you know, consciously bring it to a heartfelt, like deeper level. And it, you know, because we're trying to space out in the material world. But if we work on that, the actual real level of consciousness will slowly work into our, our total being, and will come closer and closer in our lives to, to that proper consciousness. In other words, I'm just saying we have to work on it. Be conscious of the fact that we do have to work.
John Marsh, thank you. So we'll sing a song on page 77. I can set the mood for you a little bit. This song, Guru Maharaj requested that the devotees sing every evening. So after the arati in the evening, imagine yourself, you're in Navadvip Dham. It's just rain, everything's wet, there's marble all around. And, there's a procession of devotees that walks all the way around Guru Maharaj's Samadhi Mandir, the Nat Mandir with the Lord, the Kirtan Mandir where everyone chants the Kirtan, and then around this huge Tulsi Devi that's in one of the corners of the mat. Very, very powerful, like massive Tulsi Devi inside of a lotus-shaped pot in a pond. And in one part of the mat. So this person was walking all the way around and singing this song according to Guru Maharaj's direction. And it's very, a song of calling out. Very beautiful song by Srila Bhakti. Kabe Shri Chaitanya More Koribe na doya, Kabe Shri Chaitanya More Koribe na doya, Kabe ami paibo Vaishnava pada chaya, Kabe ami paibo Kabe ami charibo কৃষ্ণে আবে দিবেন প্রচুর লাগি কৃষ্ণে আবে দিবেন প্রচুর বৈষ্ণবের আবেদনে কৃষ্ণ দয়াময় বৈষ্ণবের আবেদনে কৃষ্ণ দয়াময় এহেন পামর প্রতি হবেন সদয় এহেন পামর প্রতি হবেন সদয় বিনোদের নিবেদন বৈষ্ণব চরণে বিনোদের নিবেদন বৈষ্ণব চরণে কৃপা করি সঙ্গে লহ এই অকিঞ্চনে কৃপা করি সঙ্গে লহ এই অকিঞ্চনে নমো নমো মহি মহারাণে. Then the pilgrimage just continues around Tulsi Devi.
It's a really
Throw it to you.
hopeful song because maybe we feel that we're not able to do this. And so we're asking, oh, when will you give me the grace to be able to pray sincerely to the holy feet of the Vaishnava?
Okay, let's read the translation.
Or when will Sri Chaitanya bestow upon me his grace? When will I get shelter in the shade of the holy feet of the Vaishnavas?
When will I give up false ego and being an enjoyer? And when will I offer all respects to the sincere devotees of my Lord Vishnu?
Myself by the feet of the Vaishnava with the cloth of surrender around my neck and the straw between my teeth.
Weeping and weeping, when will I submit my sorrowful tale at the feet of the Vaishnava? And when will I seek relief from the fire of material suffering, praying to the Vaishnava for shelter and rest?
Upon hearing the tale of my lovely sorrow, that saintly Vaishnava will petition Krishna on his path of prayer.
Then satisfied by Vaishnava's prayer, Krishna will be merciful to us who heed his soul.
Bhakti Vinod Thakur submits this prayer at the lotus feet of the Vaishnavas. Give me your grace and accept this lowly soul in your association.
Jai, Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur, ki jai.
Okay, oh, hey Vaishnava Thakur. Which is page 84.
Oh hey Vaishnava Thakura, Dayara Sagara, Edase Karuna Kori.
Oh hey Vaishnava Thakura, Dayara Sagara, Edase Karuna Kori.
Diya Pada Chaya, Shodho Hey Amare.
Diya Pada Chaya, Shodho Hey Amare. Vaishnava, ocean of grace, be gracious to this servitor. Bestow the shade of your holy feet. Purify me. I clasp your holy lotus feet.
Subjugate the 6 urges, rectify the 6 defects, bestow the 6 good qualities upon this servitor. Please grant me the 6 kinds of saintly association. I sit at your feet aspiring for that association. Should I read the whole thing?
Sure.
Okay. The 6 urges are those of speech, the mind, anger, the tongue, the belly, and the genitals. The 6 faults are overeating or collecting more monetary funds than required, over-endeavoring for material objectives, unnecessary talking about mundane affairs, being too attached to or too neglectful of scriptural rules and regulations, associating with worldly-minded persons, and lusting after mundane achievements. The 6 good qualities are enthusiasm, patience, confidence, the determination to perform activities favorable to devotional service, the resolution to abandon the association of non-devotees, and the discipline required to always follow in the footsteps of the predecessor acharyas. 6 kinds of saintly association are offering gifts in charity, accepting charitable gifts, revealing one's mind in confidence, inquiring confidentially, accepting prasadam, and offering prasadam.
Number 3.
On my own, I have no strength to chant the holy name in congregation. Kindly be pleased to bestow a drop of faith in my heart, giving me the treasure of Krishna's name.
Krishna is yours. You can give him. You have the power to do so. I who am bereft, calling Krishna Krishna, and running desperately behind you.
All right. Pop quiz. What are the 6 faults?
Over-endeavoring, overeating,
So over-consuming, basically.
Atyahara prayasas japa japa niyamagaha dharmasamgasta japa.
So what's prayashas? Atyahara is over-consuming, overeating, or getting more stuff. Sorry, my kid's retarded.
Too attached and too neglectful of scriptural rules and regulations. You know what's an interesting thing? They're all very interesting, actually. Because too attached and too neglectful of things, they're both major problems. You're getting, like, kind of calcified, one could say. Right? And one of the very famous, because we're speaking Srila Sridhar today, one of his very most famous sentences is we have to follow the spirit of the thing, not the form of the thing. Now, that does not mean that we're just like constantly looking for something that's not form. When they align is nice, right? Like when the spirit of the thing and the form of the thing are together, that's nice. That's not necessarily awful. But when they come into conflict, which also happens, then we have to go deeper. And we can't go for the exterior, superficial rule of the thing. But that scripture has a very deep, heartfelt advice. And there's a feeling behind it. And that feeling can be lost following the quote-unquote rules of the thing. Which is really strange, because those rules are generally there to assist you so that you can kind of deal with your mind, which is a whole journey that's never-endingly providing you with optimum opportunities for progress, right? So that's the thing. It's very amazing actually to say. But too neglectful means like you're falling off. And what I would say on this is it's even more subtle than that, because each person has what's too strict for them and too neglectful for them. And so that means that everyone else has a different tension of where they need to make progress. And that's hard also to straddle, right? Because for one person, like in their sleep, they do the regulations that another person would hope to do in 1,000 lifetimes. We could say it like that, right? So that means that there's a subjectiveness. And then there's a tension with that, where we're all falling a little bit off on one side. We're all a little neglectful sometimes, we're a little forgetful, we're a little like not in, and we can feel like, oh, I have to like kind of wake up a little bit. And then there's two attached to where you're maybe not feeling as compassionate towards people around you, and it's starting to become like a kind of strange judged way to perceive reality. And again, we're becoming forgetful in a different way. So it's a very interesting advice actually to say not too much, and requires a tremendous amount of honesty from the practitioner. And it's the same for all of them ultimately, right? Because spiritual life is, it's all based on jumping from the truth, right? So like if we think of all these different kinds of cobwebs or house of cards or all these kinds of things, means like all the lies that we're taking shelter of, they have to pop, right? So all the false shelters that we're creating, they cannot sustain ultimately the long journey. And so it's very interesting where you're going, oh, it's all based on the truth, on deeper and deeper finding to the bone of the truth. Like for example, it says a couple times here, don't associate with people that aren't devotees. That does not mean hide in a cave and never speak to anyone again. But it does mean become mindful of where you're taking inputs. And if you're hanging out with people and you're taking nothing to do with physical proximity, but if you're near people and you can feel your consciousness going on a downward spiral, and you have to be honest and go like, well, that's not the most helpful thing for my attempt on the journey, right? But it doesn't mean hide in a cave and never speak to anyone again. It just means like you're becoming conscious of the many different aspects of an authentic attempt at spiritual life, we can say. So, yeah.
I think like in practice of Krishna consciousness, like over time, we in ourselves and also we see in others that these sorts of like problems are manifesting. We're becoming too much focused on the structure of the thing and losing sight of the fact that it's an internal function that's there that we have to follow. It's not Krishna consciousness. We're given the structure for help to help us, but if we think that by utilizing the structure with our own like strength and endeavor will achieve success, that's a misunderstanding. The idea is that the structure has been given to us by higher grace, and we need to move into our approach to Krishna consciousness and our day-to-day lives and all these things, like based on this, this foundation that my position in relation to Krishna is that I am his eternal servant, and what I am getting as a result of this is coming by his grace. It's not coming as a result of me memorizing things or me being able to recite things or anything like that. So we have to consciously work on withdrawing ourselves away from this, this natural tendency that's there in our material consciousness. We have to be aware of it and consciously pull away from it.
I have a question.
Yes,
one of the 6 good qualities is patience. And along with that's what I'm saying, like we get all these promises, really like lovely promises on what will be like. As in, like we get all these promises, we get all these like really lovely promises of what will be achieved on this path, and it's kind of easy to get ahead of ourselves, I guess. Like how can we practice patience when I know like there's joy down the road. I know I'm like suffering a whole lot right now. So how can we practice patience?
I have a thought on that. It's very difficult for us to conceive that actually the only thing that exists is consciousness. But the truth is, The only difference between you being there is you. So I think for me, patience is the willingness. So, two things. One, Krishna consciousness, spiritual life is a matter of changing your perspective. It's not a matter of changing where you are, but it's a matter of changing how you view your reality from an exploitive standpoint or from a giving standpoint. And the more that you view it from a giving standpoint and you interact with it from a giving standpoint, the more you will see what it really is. When you interact with reality as an exploiter, you're going to receive the thing that you don't like in return. So the thing that we're receiving is because of our interaction with reality. So the process becomes fully about changing myself and changing my perspective. And in terms of patience, the challenge of each day, the challenge and full consuming of our consciousness of the presentation of each day and our need to meet it properly should move away from an outcome-based consciousness, because we tend to approach spiritual life. We have these beautiful promises, but that's because we tend to approach spiritual life in the same exploitive mood as we approach our other life. So we're like, oh, okay, what, I'm going to do all this stuff and then I'm going to get to like bliss, right? We immediately objectify it. It's very difficult to even conceive of a being that we are that doesn't objectify things, right? And so Guru Maharaj is saying, you have to meet your day properly and try to learn to sacrifice into that. And that should consume you very, very fully. There are so many things that you have to deal with properly. And there's so many things that you can see within yourself that maybe I'm not dealing with properly. And there may be many things in your mind where you think, oh, you know, really if I was to like have an A+ day, or I might give myself a little gold star on the forehead, I should do this. But then you don't do it. Right? So that consuming of making each of your days a sacrifice, a proper sacrifice, to me is a way to get away from the outcome-based consciousness and get more in the mood of pure perseverance and determination and sacrifice. And in that mood, maybe we may be interacting for 1 second or maybe even more properly with reality. And so like, you know, that kind of thing of like, okay, however many days it takes, that's patience. You don't need to be doing anything else.
There's that poem that says, I asked God for patience, he said no. So I often think that patience, like,
What is that?
it says, it means like you can wait longer.
It means you're going to need to be patient in order to get patience.
Right. It's like I asked God for patience and he said no. I asked God for strength, he gave me hard work. I asked him for humility, he gave me experiences to not be proud of. Right? So all of these things are expressed in this poem. And it's very interesting that, you know, I've ever heard that quote that says sacrifice is its own reward. When you watch like a very well done story, it will have very important elements in it. And if you don't find those elements, the story will be so flat, it will almost be unwatchable. When a character is willing to sacrifice for another character without any thought of themselves, you become fully engrossed, and you almost forget that you're watching like a movie or a show or a book or whatever it is. So that character has gotten to a point where it's very negligible whether they live or die, because they finally found something to live for. This is what we're talking about ultimately that you will find, it's not that like, you have to learn how to love God so you can have fun sometime. It's that you will fall in love, actually. You want to learn how to love reality. And not in some fake way where we tell other people how much we love God, right? But we want to actually go through some kind of transformation on our journey with reality. And it will become the least important thing how much time it took to get there, because time is so irrelevant. When we get the smallest bit of the fraction of truth in our own lives, everyone in this room will definitely unequivocally be able to express that. You won't care what it took you to get to that moment. You'll be like, yeah, I would do it again. I would do 1,000 hours. I would do it 1,000,000 times. I would go again. That's what we're searching for in terms of the deepest ideal, right? Where you say, oh yeah, 10 lifetimes, no problem. That's like that. That's what we're. And if it's not there, that's okay. That's why we're reading these scriptures, right? It's like when you read, like, what are the qualities of a wise man in Bhagavad Gita? It's like, oh, he just sees someone dying, they just take off their clothes and put on another outfit and they're not disturbed. And what do we think? Well, I'm not very wise, right? Like I haven't realized the nature of like the situation of moving in and out of bodies. I'm attached to all these results. I have, and you know, like you read like godly and ungodly qualities, right? It's like patience, forgiveness, mercy, all of these kinds of like really beautiful qualities. And why would we read them over and over? It's like washing over your consciousness and very slowly, oh my gosh, there's a way to live where like these things are not just something you're chiseling into your personality, but they're like an expression of like your own It's not like see divinity in every soul near you. You know, like see that like it's okay, like you can love other people and like it's like, what does it say in the script? You'll feel so much compassion for the people that you meet. You'll feel affection for people that you meet. And it won't matter whether they're supposedly your enemy or supposedly they're your friend. Like there's a kind of world where you can actually perceive that like everything actually is coming to help you, right? All sorts of things are spoken about. So then you go, okay, sacrifice is its own reward. And I personally I think of myself as a very impatient person.
Well,
and I think that it's very amazing.
Slightly, just barely.
I like to embrace very deeply the exact moment that I'm in as a practice.
Joy.
That's would be what I would say is like, yes, I accept what is happening, and even I will chant that sentence. I accept, and it has its own kind of aftershock.
Please.
It's okay.
Well, we're not going to
I just want to say that isn't patience one of the qualities of women, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
It is.
I think we can learn from those beautiful material qualities in each other, and I think that because we're aspiring for something so high, it's like, how can we want it? It's not going to happen overnight.
Yeah.
We have to be really patient. I mean, what we're aspiring for is like.
There's a beautiful
there's no
story.
words to, and to be patient about it is it's a very good quality. It's, like when they go, they have to be patient the whole 9 months. It's like a big deal. They're going to have it right away. But I think that's where that comes to some degree. Anyway, that's what I'd like to say. We're inspired.
That's a beautiful remembrance to, yeah.
And if you think, another thing I would add, if I could add just a little short thing. I mean,
we're captivated by conceptions of reality, of attainment, that are actually, we don't really know what it is. We hear about love of God and hate of God, What is the love of God thing that I was going to get here? We have no idea what the love of God really even is. So we have it like it's a journey. Like a year ago, you can say you're a different man than a year ago. But these things So we can really look at that and go, yeah, I know that. Something is coming. But it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. I didn't know what it was going to be, even whatever that progress is. So there are certain things that will come when it's time to come. And we have to go through something to be ready to receive that. And that's a really important thing, and it's exciting, and we know that we're on this path. We know we're in the association of those who are sincerely trying to move forward. And so we're just concentrating on our duty. And Guru Maharaj said, you cannot bang that door down. That plane will come to you as it is, as according to the sweet, according to the sweet will of the serving energy. So we have to be patient. Otherwise we're going to, Guru Maharaj said, pick the fruit before it's ripe. And then we'll become sahaji or some imitation thing, you know. So we're holding out. We're holding out for the real thing. And we don't know what it is. We hear about it, but we can't like conjure it up in our imaginary, you know, little chemistry lab. It is very real. More real than we can conceive of. So there's a process. It's like you get on a boat. You're not just there already. You've got some traveling to do. So that's exciting. Who wants you to get in a boat and then you're there? You didn't even go. You didn't go on a journey or anything.
No drama, no story.
Okay. Thank you, Bhakti. Jai Shri, do you want to sing a Bhara Korana? 158.
What page?
158. 158.
Vaishnava
Vaishnava Goswami, please be merciful to me this one time. You are the savior of the fallen. Without you, there is no one.
Just by being in your presence, sins go far away. Where can anyone find such kindness?
Merely by the touch of the waters of the sacred Ganges, one becomes liberated. Even if he is lowest of mankind, but just by seeing you, the same effect is achieved. Such is your devotion.
If one commits an offense at the feet of Lord Hari, he can be forgiven if you chant the holy name. But if one offends you, there is no salvation.
In your heart, Govinda is always resting. Sri Govinda himself says, my devotees are my life and soul.
I hope that in birth I will obtain the dust of your lotus feet. Sri Narottam prays, please, O Vaishnava Goswami, be kind unto me.
Sri Narottam Das Thakur ki jai.
Very beautiful. Okay, then maybe we can sing. Actually, maybe we should have a glorification of Srila Guru Maharaj to our limited capacity. Remember his life, his pastimes, his precepts. Maharaj, would you like to?
Yeah.
Speak about
So, in the early days of ISKCON, when Prabhupada came to America, generally, like he talked, a lot of his godbrothers became very and this was more or less in effect for some time. And even in the like the structural organization of ISKCON, the GBC would go see Srila Maharaj and get his advice and stuff like that. Unfortunately, at a certain stage, there was some, they didn't like the advice, so they kind of just turned away. But at that point, for many of us who had already come in contact with Srila Maharaj, it was they said, well, how can you leave Prabhupada? How can you leave ISKCON and stuff like that? And I would just say, if Prabhupada was here and he was in Navadvip, would you go to Navadvip or would you stay in Mayapur? And so it was like that kind of experience. When I first got a chance to see Srila Maharaj, I came up the stairs and sat down amongst the devotees, and he was speaking in Bengali. And I just sat there and closed my eyes and listened and tried to absorb what he was giving. And the first thing that came over me was, this is just like when I sat with Srila Prabhupada. Even though it was like a different language, the atmosphere, the conveyance, the feeling of a pure Vaishnava wanting to give Krishna consciousness to you was so apparent and so real with the shelter of Srila Bhakti work of Sridhar Maharaj. Unfortunately, we got to see Srila Maharaj a few times, but we were busy with other services and stuff. And later, we got to hear many of his pastimes from Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj. And in seeing Srila Govinda Maharaj relate, in the time when Srila Maharaj was here, and also later, you can just see perfectly what is, how does a perfect Vaishnava servant act towards his guru. And this was Srila Govinda Maharaj. We had that unbelievable chance to see loving exchange between super pure Vaishnavas in the mood of the line of Krishna consciousness. Whereas sometimes they say, well, you know, at a certain point, guru doesn't make that much difference. But the fact is that the structure is real, and the structure of guru and our position in relation to guru has to do with, you know, our heart's feeling and our heart's inspiration. And the structure all lends toward that. So, like, anyway, seeing with Srila Maharaj was, they would say, well, how come you need Prabhupada? I would say, by sitting with Srila Maharaj and hearing him talk sometimes about him being with Srila Prabhupada, I feel closer to Srila Prabhupada. It's not, you know, it's not like mundane, like, oh, if you have a boyfriend or a girlfriend, if you go with someone else, then you're betraying them. It's not mundane like that. We're in Krishna consciousness. We have a whole line of unbelievable gurus and teachers. And Srila Maharaj was there with us at the most desperate time after the departure of Srila Prabhupada. And he, you know, he extended his full, like, help and affection and love. And you could, you know, forever, however, you know, fallen we are, he was able to reach to us and give us some hope, you know, that Krishna consciousness is eternal. Krishna consciousness will always see to an arrangement whereby you'll be taken care of. And, you know, we were able to see that practically in the transition from, you know, feeling the unbelievable pain and emptiness at the departure of Srila Prabhupada, coming in contact with, again, Srila Maharaj. And then after, 10 years or something of being with Srila Maharaj, he leaves, but then again we have Srila Govinda Maharaj. And in that way, those of us who are in Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Math, we have had the ongoing presence of pure, great Vaishnavas, giving each one of us, you know, like heart-to-heart direction, heart-to-heart inspiration. So even if you like consider it even like numerically, so many years of having contact with such great Vaishnavas, we've got some unbelievable blessing. And based on that, like, unbelievable blessing that we've received from Srila Maharaj, Srila Govinda Maharaj, and before that, Srila Prabhupada, we have a natural, like, a natural obligation to convey this. Somehow or other, what it is that each one of us has in our hearts, what each one of us feels about Krishna consciousness, we have the obligation to convey that, to give it to others. Why? Because it's the direction of our gurus. We may feel it to one extent or another. As we grow, we may feel it more and more, but it's that necessity. But the principal motivation is, my guru wants this. Because he wants this, this is my life. This is what I have to do. And, you know, hearing these things about, you know, what is the ultimate position my consciousness should be in, is something that encourages us, something that enables us to set, like, a clear destination in our, like, life's objectives. Like, I'm going to structure my life in such a way so that things are beneficial for Krishna consciousness. Whatever choice I have in progress of my life, I'll try to make that decision that brings me, you know, closer to my guru, to my obligations to Krishna consciousness. You know, to direct our lives in that way, that's our chance, that's our opportunity. And we all have it all the time. And it's not always visible, it's not always so obvious. And sometimes Krishna just zaps us and shows us, okay, now's the time to do this. But really that connection and that feeling of presence of the Lord is there through the grace of his servants. And if we remember about his servants and taking their shelter, things begin to change in our heart. And, you know, like I was saying, even it's like 1/10 to 1%, we may feel like that, but that, you know, that's pretty cool. Because, you know, 1/10 of 1% towards some 100% of perfection is an amazing chance, amazing progress that we have in this life, based on, just look at the world around us, how it's all going on and humming and buzzing and all this stuff. And we have the chance to like see through that. And that's just a direct blessing of our gurus. And in our line, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Maharaj, Srila Maharaj. So today we're meditating and praying to the lotus feet of Srila Bhakti, Rakshak, Sridhar, Dev-Goswami, Maharaj. These like festivals are occurrences of like the manifestation of some transcendence that somehow or other works in that way because of the potency of these great souls who we are turning ourselves towards. It works to change us. So like, to on days like this, to remember, Krishna's given me this special day. Let me like absorb myself. Let me try to, do what my guru and my Lord wants, particularly on this day. Ultimately we should be like that all the time, but nonetheless, as we develop and as we grow, Krishna gives us special times and special chances, and particularly days like this are those special times, are those chances that are there for us. So anyway, you're saying the same thing over and over again.
Same but different.
Chant it, Maharaj.
I'm saying the same thing over and over again. Bigger stomach. You're saying the same
Can't hear you.
Can't hear you.
Dandavat to everyone here on this really holy day of holy days. I just wanted to say I felt that way. I felt that way when I came to the lotus feet of Srila Sridhar Maharaj. That my relationship with Srila Prabhupada had deepened.
Of course, yeah.
And I got to feel closer to Srila Prabhupada. And it was really amazing because I said, I just missed Srila Prabhupada. I do not want to miss Srila Maharaj.
All right.
So,
Prabhupada inspired you.
yes, because I was following his instructions, and that's what it says. With great care and attention, we should take shelter of the instructions of Guru Dev. And by doing that, he gives his blessing. And I feel that some blessing came. I had said that to one of the very senior gurus in ISKCON. And he called me my previous name. I said, my name is not Gangalayan anymore, it's Divya Shakti. I've taken, initiation from Srila Sridhar Maharaj. And actually, my relationship with Srila Prabhupada has deepened because of that. And I wanted to say that. And it's very important for myself not to become lackadaisical and in my practicing life, in the sense of doing things half-assed. Try to do things. We should all try to do things to the best of our ability for the service that comes to us. And I have noticed in myself that, I'll try to skip over something or not chant all the mantra or just like do it from my heart, or just not do everything completely and wholeheartedly. But like I said before, what we are trying to achieve is something so sublime that we should be willing to do everything and anything for that objective. So I wanted to say that because I felt that we could speak And I wanted to read something. It's the prayers to Srila Sridhar Maharaj from Srila Gurudev, and it's on the centennial in 1995. And it's prayers to Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Dev-Goswami Maharaj, composed and translated by Srila Bhakti Dev-Goswami Maharaj. Shri Swarupa Maya Rupa Jiva Bhava Samparam.
Oh, Divya.
Yes.
I was just going to have us all sing that at the end of this, but yeah, go ahead.
Wow. So beautiful.
It's on page 332 if anybody wants to look.
Varna Dharma Nirvishesha Sarva Loka Nistika Shri Saraswati Priyancha Bhakti Sundarakshayam Sridharam Namami Bhakti Rakshakam Jagadguru, who carries the divine conception of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and nourishes it exclusively in the perceptual line of Swarup Damodar, Ram, Ramananda Rai, Srila Rupa Goswami, Srila Jiva Goswami, etc. So that's what Gurudev is saying, who carries the divine conception of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and nourishes it exclusively in the perceptual line of Swarup Damodar, Ramananda Roy, Srila Rupa Goswami, and Srila Jiva Goswami, etc., whose divine preaching activities are rescuing the conditioned souls from this mundane world without discriminating and considering the Varna Dharma, creed, caste, religion, etc., or the degree of fallenness. Who is the dearmost servitor of his Gurudev, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and who is the super-subjective potency, Ashraya, of the loveliness of divine devotion, Parama Madhurya Maya Bhakti, or who is the only shelter of Sri Bhakti Sundar Govinda, I bow down to that divine preceptor of the whole universe, Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Dev-Goswami Maharaj. And then the second part of the prayer is Sindhu Chandra Paravatendu Shakta Janma Lilanam Shuddha Dikta Raga Bhakti Gaura Bhanu Shilanam Bindu Chandra Ratna Soma Shaka Lokanataram Sridharam Namami Bhakti Rakshakam Jagadguru, whose divine pastime of appearing in this mundane world manifest in the year 1817, Sakabda, whose holy practicing life is exclusively in the line of the super exalted Radhamar, which is the supreme destination of the Radhanuga Sampradaya, but for the benefit of the conditioned souls. He firmly established the worship of that, guarded by the standing of the super Vedic foundation of Vidhi-marg, whose day of disappearance from this mundane world was in the year 1910, Sakabda. I bow down to that divine protector of the whole universe, Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Dev-Goswami Maharaj. And that was an offering in 1995 that Gurudev composed to Guru Maharaj. So, I think it's so beautiful.
Beautiful, Divya.
Fantastic.
Good job.
That was so lovely. So Guru means heavy, immovable, not moving according to the three modes of material nature, completely dependable. And wherever, again in practicing life, whatever winds are coming from divine will to modify us, sometimes we're going to feel a little bit thrown off. But just like the sailors are always looking to the North Star, because the North Star doesn't move. So we just bow down to the feet of Guru Maharaj, Gurudev, and we know I will stick this course out, and what was being shown to me will be shown to me, because he's immovable. He's so heavy. He's so fixed in divinity of a completely heart-melting quality. There's nothing in the world that can move him off course, and so we always stick to his holy feet. And these things will happen. They'll happen in our progress. That it is time for a lesson. And suddenly the confidence we felt in the position that we were in yesterday, we suddenly feel uncertain that it's necessary for our progress. And we will simply come to the holy feet of Gurudev, and especially Srila Bhakti Rakshak, Srila Dev-Goswami Maharaj, Srila Gurudev, Srila Guru Prabhupada, Srila Saraswati Thakur, my grandfather Guru, and just sit there, figuratively or in the plane of consciousness, and know, my Lord, you will show me what it is that I need now for my progress, that has suddenly made me feel uncertain of my situation, because that situation must be modified as we progress. So Guru means heavy, unmovable. The Himalayas can be moved, but Guru cannot be moved. So we have our Divine Master, and every time we hear something from his lotus mouth, we feel completely astounded. But why is that coming to my ear? What kind of miracle is that? It is just simply Odarya Leela. It is the giving, the Leela of distribution. And he's fully dancing the wave of Mahaprabhu's distribution of divine prema. And what is that divine prema? We're hearing something about it. We're feeling that it is the most wonderful substance that we can ever conceive of, even from just the descriptions of it. How different it is from every kind of plane of exploitation. How sweet, how gentle, how humble, how self-giving. In the kitchen, can you maybe wait for a second to do that? So we're going to keep following this fragrance, which is coming down from that divine plane of service, hearing about it, and bowing down, and know that every time we approach the holy feet of Gurudev, we will be modified. That substance is alive, extremely affectionate, and it is coming into our hearts just at the time when we need it. So, on one level there's an historical personality there. But Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur reminds us that he reasons ill. He doesn't understand who thinks that a Vaishnava dies. Because, as Sridhar was saying, Vaku and Vani, that Vani form, that form of divine sound is still living with us. And we feel his presence in our lives. There's no question about that. There's no question. So, anyways, there's so many things to say. But we're just going on in a kind of hope that is never, ever going to be available in the plane of exploitation. Because Nahi Kalyani Krit Kaschit Durgatim Tata Gachati even a small amount of effort on this inconceivably brilliant, wondrous path of purifying every nasty, selfish thing from our heart and becoming a giver, a lover of the Lord, even the smallest amount of progress, no amount of piety that is given in the Veda, no amount of austerity, penance, sacrifices, all those things cannot compare to that small amount of progress on this path. And so we have hopefulness that is unassailable, and no wrong can ever be the result of it. So here we are at the feet of our Divine Master, and I just want to say, and I know that it's been said before, and then I'll stop, but the grandfather is more affectionate than the father. So do not think of him as some man who lived a long time ago. He is fully conscious of you and inconceivably merciful and kind, and he'll never let you go. He'll never reject you. Jai Shri Bhakti Bhakti Srila Dev Tirvat Mahamahotsav Ki.
Joy.
Say something.
It's kind of a trip to me that somebody born in 1990 is 35. That's insane. It's like, Guru Maharaj, a lot of what he gave in the 1980s, which to me seems very current, and it's not. It's historical at this point. And sometimes it's hard to bring something historical into context in the present. It seems like, oh, that was another time. Well, I guess those people got to see that amazing guy. Good for them, but what about me? Guru Maharaj is a very rare personality. I personally believe that Srila Guru Maharaj will be known for many thousands of years on this planet. Because what he gave is actually not fully understood within the world and should be known. It is the most pristine, absolutely perfect, yet brief Siddhanta, saving us from so many pitfalls on the path of authentic spiritual life. And we're in this strange situation of trying to move from being totally captured in material energy and being captured in the hopes, and then necessarily once we start hoping, we start fearing, right? The hopes and fears of life on this plane. And we're trying to move from that type of conscious situation into something very wonderful but very vague, this sort of idea that like there is a constant flow of infinite, fresh bliss at the basis of reality. You're like, okay, well, how do I move from that to that? And that's not an easy path. There's a lot of thorns, and there's a lot of pitfalls, and as Ron says, false summits, dead ends. And not only does Guru Maharaj give us the proper understanding of that plane of Raga Marg, that plane of feeling, that plane of the full expression of the soul. There's so many of the pitfalls on the path. We can hear from Guru Maharaj in these, almost like these English shlokas, like fundamentalism. Takes form. Basically, you take some type of form, and you think, okay, follow this form, and you're going to get the spiritual substance. But sometimes the form has to be cast aside in favor of the substance. Substance over form. That's like a super, intense, brief shloka. Substance over form. Always, every time. Sometimes you become captured by a particular society. Oh, but I only go to the buildings with this name on it, and they look like this, not like those other ones. God consciousness over society consciousness. So brief, so full of meaning,
And so something that you can follow. His very life, he espoused that. Now, just so we can understand, like these kind of people are very rare to find nowadays. Maharaj was born in a Brahmin family, renunciate since birth, had no material attachments to the point where his parents were like super worried because in India it's like this big thing, like your son has got to get married and have kids, And his parents are just like, oh my God, this kid has like 0 material attachments. We got to get him married right now. Then he got him married early, his wife died.
Wasn't it his father kind of had it as his death wish?
Yeah. I mean, to that, and his father's a high Brahmin. The Guru Maharaj,
6 years.
So much of these old stories that we hear, a person who can like memorize tracts of scripture, and not just memorize them in terms of like a rote memory, but he knows the intrinsic meaning of every syllable. And he can literally explain things down to the syllable, like feeling what these vibrations are meaning. Like these kinds of personalities, it's like, we kind of hear about them, they sound mythical. Like Guru Maharaj was that person. One time all of his godbrothers were astonished. They were trying to get this preaching thing, and this intellectual, this educator, professor came up and gave Guru Maharaj like a whole list of questions, like 30-something questions. He just sat up there and was reading question after question after question after question. Guru Maharaj just going like this, counting the questions. And then he just answered every single one of them. And everyone's like blown away. And that man actually surrendered to Guru Maharaj after that. And he may not have understood even, but he's just like, wow, this guy has got something. Right? And there's many, many pastimes in Guru Maharaj's preaching like that. When Saraswati Thakur left, Saraswati Thakur was another just like literally inconceivable kind of human, full of like so much drive and fire to defeat misconception and to spread truth, with no personal desire within himself at all. And on his deathbed, there's a famous story that we all know. But he wanted to hear the anthem of our line, which is a song called Srila Manjari Pada by Srila Narottam Thakur. And he's on his deathbed and he's like singing Srila Manjari Pada, he's going to leave and wants to hear this song. And he's actually a great brahmachari, and he actually became a great sannyasi, and his voice is like truly like a Gandharva. I mean, like if you hear like a recording of him singing, it's just like, how is that a human being? It's so beautiful. So this devotee began to sing that, and Saraswati Thakur sat up in his bed, and he said, I do not want to hear the tune. Srila Maharaj will sing this song. And Srila Maharaj cannot sing. He can't keep a beat, and he can't keep a tone. But Saraswati Thakur said, I do not want to hear the tune. Srila Maharaj will sing this song. At that point, everyone knew that's where the line is going. Right? Saraswati Thakur is like, knows the heart. He knows where this is going. It's not a formal thing. It's not like you have to write a will or anything. It's where the line goes. So Guru Maharaj is holding that essence, and he did sing that song. At that point in time. And as Maharaj mentioned, when Swami Maharaj went to the West, Swami Maharaj is not a sannyasi his whole life. He didn't spend most of his time even preaching during the time of Saraswati Thakur. He was initiated by Saraswati Thakur. He's a family man. He's a chemist, right? So his godbrothers didn't know who he was. And really, again, people become immediately formalistic, fundamentalist, and superficial. And so Swami Maharaj goes to the West and comes back with like thousands of Westerners, like absolutely mind-blowing to India at the time. But the Westerners are kind of singing it in their own way, banging on the drums upside down, and like singing all the tunes wrong and everything. And these guys were like literally mocking all of these devotees, mocking them because they're not doing it in like the perfect Bengali way and all these kinds of things. And the insinuation is, okay, you can't do the form properly, then you don't have the substance, right? Again, Guru Maharaj is teaching, you are all wrong. He did a great thing, and
he's worthy of your obeisance. And when no one else would go to the opening of the Chandradhar Mandir, Srila Guru Maharaj went, and Srila Govinda Maharaj went. And sat on the Vyasasana with Srila Prabhupada. Guru Maharaj did. This is like truth, not bound by formality. And I'm giving the slightest little, crumbs of what he actually gave. And so many really wonderful devotees put so much time and effort into capturing these things and putting them in book form. And there are so many wonderful books. Anyone with authentic, real spiritual intention in their life, my honest opinion is you have to read Guru Maharaj. At the time, after that time when Saraswati Thakur left, Gaudiya Math fell apart. And Guru Maharaj disappeared. Nobody could find him. And Guru Maharaj was praying to Lord Nityananda Prabhu at that time and meditating within himself. What is this about? And he received the clear guidance, which is also clearly said by Srila Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, clearly said by Krishnadas Kaviraj. Sharanagati is what this is about. If you want to understand Sharanagati, you have to read Prabandha Jivanamritam. And if you want to read, if you have any kind of love for philosophy, you have to read the foreword to Prabandha Jivanamritam. It is the most succinct yet comprehensive coverage of all thoughts in the world that go anywhere and leading to the real path of inner motion, Sharanagati, and loving and giving relationship with reality rather than a suspicious and taking relationship, or a hateful relationship where you just reject it all. So briefly does Guru Maharaj take you through that and then give this wonderful compendium of verses from all the different shastras pointing in that direction. One of the greatest literary accomplishments, in my belief, it will be recognized in the world. It is awesome. Literally. So, that's the day that we're celebrating today, and that's the personality who chose this day to move into his next pastimes. Guru Maharaj himself expressed in his own Disappearance song to Saraswati Thakur, wherever that great soul may be, may I go there. And it's a nice prayer for us. Wherever he is, whatever he's doing, if we reach out, hey, when we're moving on, maybe we'll be there. So, Jai Shri Guru Maharaj ki jai, Jai Shri Bhakti Srila Dev-Goswami Maharaj ki jai, Jai Shri Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj ki jai. Hare Krishna. Okay, we're at 8:15. Does anyone else want to share anything from their heart?
Krishna Mahinidi.
Okay, so we can sing this same pranam mantra that Divya read today. It was very beautiful, perfect for today. And maybe we can just read this verse. 332, page 332. And this will be the end of the program, and then with a full heart and remembering Srila Guru Maharaj will honor this amazing Mahaprasad which all the devotees made today. This verse in the bottom is sung like this. I don't know how to play Mridanga with it, but it's Kanaka Sudichirangam Sundaram Shamnamurtim Vibhudavarenyam Shri Gurum Siddhipurtim Sarunatapanavasam Bhaktidam Chidvilasam Bhaja Bhaja Tumanore Sridharam Sambhidhanam. Oh my dear mind, please engage yourself eternally in the worship of Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Dev-Goswami Maharaj, who has manifested his form as Sri Gurudev, who is the giver of all perfection, whose charming golden form is beautifully reposed with sweetness and tranquility. Dressed in radiant saffron robes, he's rich with perfect devotional conceptions, highly learned and preeminent among the followers of Srila Saraswati Thakur. And then in the
Same tune as Prema Dhamma Stotra.
The first two verses we'll sing right now. Bruce, do you want to lead this or no?
Shri Swarupa Raya Rupa Jiva Bhava Sambharam. Shri Swarupa Raya Rupa Jiva Bhava Sambharam. Varna Dharma Nirvishesha Sarva Loka Nishtaram. Saraswati Priyancha Bhakti Sundarashrayam. Saraswati Priyancha Bhakti Sundarashrayam. Sridharam namami bhakti Rakshakam jagadguru. Sridharam namami bhakti Rakshakam jagadguru. Chandra Parvatendu Shaka Janma Lilanam. Chandra Parvatendu Shaka Janma Lilanam. Shudha Deepa Raga Bhakti Gauravanushīlanam. Shudha Deepa Raga Bhakti Gauravanushīlanam. Radha Soma Sakalo Vishnu Padma Hari Rajaga Charya Varya Stotar Satoshi Shima Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Dev-Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Jai Tirobha Mahotsava ki jai. And all the devotees attending with their heart and their mind ki jai. Shriva Bhakti Vigraha Nasi Maharaj ki jai. Om Vishnu Padma Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Gaur Chandra Mahaprabhu ki jai. Jai Giriraj ji ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande.
Eternally do I worship Sri Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. I have too much faith.
Thank you, boss. Thanks, Farouk.